Hi everyone, my name is Cassie and welcome to my channel Bookish for Eyes. Today I'm doing a book review for a book called Providence by Caroline Kepnes. If you're familiar with my channel, you'll know that Caroline Kepnes is one of my favorite authors and Providence was one of my most anticipated book releases of this year. So as you can imagine, I was really excited to pick up this book and to finally give it a go after the long wait. Unfortunately, I did not enjoy this book as much as I thought I would, and I ended up giving this book 2 out of 5 stars. Because she's one of my favorite authors and I was really excited to read this book, I was obviously disappointed, so you know, you can't like every single book that your favorite author writes, so I just decided to move on with my life and to give you a fair review of what I thought. So let's get right to it. So this is about John and Chloe, and they were friends and they kind of had feelings for each other as well. But John ends up getting kidnapped by their substitute teacher and then completely disappearing for about 4 or 5 years. And then Chloe had to go on with her life and form other relationships and form other friendships and just really just live her life. Just move on from this whole thing. Then eventually John is out and he goes back home and his life has completely changed and no one really expected him to ever return. And it turns out that not only was he kidnapped, but he was given some kind of special power that he at first doesn't really realize that he has. So he starts to discover that he's not the same as he was before, and throughout this whole thing he tries to get closer to Chloe again, but things happen and then he kind of decides to disappear for a while. And then some time goes on, like 5 years goes by, and they still kind of, their paths kind of intertwine and they're kind of following one another on social media and things like that. And then, you know, it's kind of a romance and you just don't know what's gonna happen with that. So I'll just leave it at that because I feel like when I'm gonna go into the discussion I might reveal more information about this book. So here we go. I'm gonna start with the positives. I enjoyed the writing style. It was interesting and she kind of created this whole setup and gave us a little bit of a background on the people and their lives and what they're doing, things like that. So that was enjoyable. Also, I thought the whole idea of John getting kidnapped and coming out with this special power was unique and different. I haven't read a lot of books like that, maybe because I don't normally read books of that sort. But it was different and new to me, so I was genuinely excited about how that was going to play out and what was going to happen with that, so that was really neat for me as well. Now on to the negatives, since I did give this book 2 out of 5 stars. First of all, they're supposed to have a relationship, Chloe and John. And after he's kidnapped, she's really torn up about it. And you know, when 4 years goes by, she's still torn up about it. And you know, when we jump ahead and ahead, like 5 more years after that, she's still torn up about it, and he's like still in love with her. But the book starts with him getting kidnapped, so you don't really get a sense of what the relationship is like and why it's so special and why it's so significant and they can't get over it. And for me, that was the biggest flaw of the book. You're supposed to be really invested in the relationship and you're supposed to really understand their connection, and I just didn't. There was nothing to see from there. They were just friends, and I don't know how they could be also in love with one another because there's no backstory to it. There's just absolutely no backstory, and I can't be invested in a relationship that starts with nothing. And all along I'm just supposed to believe everyone in the book who's like, oh, we had this special thing going. That's not enough. And that was my biggest problem with this book. Because the relationship played such a big part of it, it had to play a big part in the build-up. I can't just start from like 0 to 60 believing that they had this special thing going. It just didn't fly with me. So another thing that I didn't enjoy is how the book jumped ahead constantly. I didn't really understand why it jumped at those specific spots. It didn't really add any depth to my understanding of the book or understanding of the characters. I don't know, it felt almost a little too rushed. So I didn't enjoy that, and I was kind of conflicted about what that was supposed to mean overall. Also, the book is narrated by John and by Chloe till about a little bit, I don't know, maybe halfway through, maybe a little bit before halfway. Anyways, And then there's another character that's introduced who becomes the third narrator, and his name's Eggs. I can't remember what his real name is, but everyone calls him Eggs. And he's a cop or a detective, but maybe I missed this part, but I don't know how he ties into this whole thing. Like, he just suddenly emerges, and then we're supposed to care about him, his family, his job, and his like life problems. I don't know who the heck this guy was, and I wasn't really interested in him, and I just felt kind of completely out of left field for him to even get into the story and to kind of do his little investigation, his little crazy pursuit of John. I don't know if that's a spoiler. I don't know. Just didn't feel like it was very well flushed out altogether, like the way the story flowed and how there's random things being introduced here and there. I overall didn't really enjoy it. Also, I guess the final point that I'm going to make about the things that I didn't like about this book is I just got a feeling that she wanted this book to be turned into like a Netflix superhero show. Because I swear maybe this book would be better as a superhero show than a novel or series, because I'm guessing that's where this book is headed. Just because there is a little underlying superhero-esque thing going on with this power that John gets. So do with that what you will, but something to consider. That might be the direction where this whole thing is going, I don't know. But I wasn't enjoying it very much, and the book just wasn't as exciting and as fun as I thought it was gonna be. The whole romance thing, which is kind of a big part of this book, that's what all this whole thing hinges upon, was as shallow as a puddle after a tiny pop-up shower. So small, no depth, couldn't really understand it at all personally. It just felt very bland. So I didn't like it. I'm guessing there's going to be more books to this, and I can say pretty confidently at this point that I don't think I'm going to be picking up the other books that come out, just because I don't know that they're going to be any better than this, and I really struggled to get through this book. So there you have it. Unfortunately, as much as I had hoped that I would like this book, I didn't like it. And it might be maybe one of the biggest disappointments of the year so far. I don't know. It's very harsh, and believe me, I'm so disappointed with this whole thing. So what can you do? Please let me know if you read Providence and what you thought, and also please let me know if you agree or disagree with any of the things that I said about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.